WNST, Towson, Baltimore, and WNST.net. The close of the Ravens season allows me to sort of recap things and get out with some old friends. This guy and I flew together for week 1 in Cincinnati on the road, saw him in many locker rooms and press conferences, on the field and out and about for 98 Rock and WBAL during the season. Of course, he ran the ball with great authority in his day as well. We welcome Justin Forsett back on. You can follow his journey out on Twitter at JForsett. And I know I'll be down in Atlanta in a couple of weeks for Super Bowl 53 coverage. I know you'll be doing some work as a former player down there and doing some radio and television as well, Justin. I don't know that we really believe the team could get to the Super Bowl, but it certainly was a very abrupt ending, and the way that it went down on Sunday was sort of maybe predictable to some degree, but still tough to watch, you know?
Yeah, it's definitely, abrupt ending. I really thought they had a chance to go the distance just with the momentum that they had at tail end of the season. I think they still have a lot to be proud of. I mean, the way things changed, and, you changed your quarterback in the middle of the year and the whole offensive scheme, and to get as far as they did, I mean, it was impressive.
For you, with the season in totality and knowing what you know about a running game and a passing game and defense and complementary football, first of all, I'd say John Harbaugh did a hell of a job of coaching his team. And I know you played for John, you played for a lot of coaches, but and I think that on a coaching level, what Frank Reich has done, anytime you're 1-5, 4-5, 3-5, it's just such human nature that gets heavy for everyone. To unbury yourself from that in the way that the Ravens did, it's kind of unprecedented in the way they ran the football from the quarterback position. It'll never happen again the way it happened this year.
Yeah, no, man. It was a one of a kind year for football, especially for the Ravens this year. I mean, when you think about the way the league has gone to being so pass happy and people really neglecting the run and how powerful and impactful it can be, and to see is the Ravens flip that notion on its head and find a quarterback that can run the ball and have a scheme that's built for him and built for the run game and play great defense. I mean, as a running back, I love seeing it. I hope that they continue to build upon that run game and playing great defense, and add some more weapons and add some more tools to Lamar's belt so he can continue to grow as a passer.
Yeah, I don't say this just because you're my guest on the show, but I don't remember ever seeing anybody who ran with the vision that you ran with in a Ravens jersey, to see holes, to see things happening before they happen. I think it spoke to how, your mind worked by the time you got here, having seen different offenses. What did you think of this as a running back? And I guess conversely, for what the Chargers did in the recent game versus what the game was out in Carson, that I would think as a running back you believe you can beat any defense, but you also understand that there are ways that you could slow this down and stop this, and eventually once it gets stopped, it needs to be changed. And, I don't know that the Ravens did a great job of adjust. I don't know if there's any adjustment to be made. What they did just worked for 7 or 8 weeks, and the Chargers adjusted to it, especially with the personnel they put on the field.
Yeah, I think it came down to execution at the end of the day. I feel that, you can continue to, run the football as much as you want, as much as they did, but you have to have, a balanced attack at some degree. You can't get forced to being just strictly one-dimensional. I think that, when the Chargers played the second time, they had an advantage of seeing us before on offense and what we present, and they adjusted. I just think that we executed in the pass game. We didn't block well execution-wise. We didn't come up with those big plays in the pass game that we needed to in order to extend drives and put points on the board. So they can continue to run the football, but the execution level on the passing side, pass protecting, and catching the ball and throwing the ball. That has to get better.
Justin Forsett is our guest. You can follow him at JForsett out on Twitter. We're going to give him the whole offseason off down there in Texas and rev up the engine to bring him back for some broadcasts next year and all that. Maybe see him down in Atlanta as well. I haven't had you on in a couple of months. I think we did some radio maybe like the beginning part of the season when Flacco was still the quarterback. And I've talked to so many people about this, Justin, about the second down being 2nd and 2, 2nd and 3, 2nd and 4 so consistently. And you know that in the framework of any running offense, including your own, when things were going well for you and it looked like you were running through these gigantic alleyways, that 2nd and 2 and 2nd and 3 creates a whole different pressure on the defense, creates a whole different set of play calls from your side on the offensive side. And this past week, one of the real problems was holding penalties, penalties in general, bad plays, no gain plays that put you into really bad down and distances, and certainly really bad down and distances for an offense that doesn't want to pass the football at all.
Yeah. Those self-inflicted wounds, they hurt bad, man, especially you're playing a championship-type game, playoff football game, playing against a really good football team. You can't make those errors and mistakes. You get behind in those downs, and you're really your quarterback isn't really passing the ball the way he should, and the line is not protecting the way they should. So it was just bad ball all around in that regard. And, that was the first time this year where we really got behind in downs like that. We usually have been pretty disciplined and, making sure that we're staying on schedule. But for whatever reason, guys weren't locked in this week, and, we had those penalties that really set us back.
Thinking about a rookie quarterback starting his first playoff game, the youngest person to ever quarterback a team in a playoff game against a guy like Phillip Rivers, knowing the likes of Ken Whisenhunt and Gus Bradley, and I know you have a little background with Gus as well, that they would scheme this up differently, and anybody who thought it wasn't a coach's game probably wasn't paying attention, and that they were going to come and do something differently. And there were guys in the Chargers locker room, and this was reported in Sports Illustrated. I had Jenny Frentis on earlier this week talking about defensive tackles, saying they knew what plays the Ravens were going to run before they ran them. That's kind of a telling thing for a defense to offer that in the aftermath, I think. When you're the winning side of the game, the game, you can say a whole lot of things after the game, after the fact. But at the end of the day, man, they did all the scheming. They said they knew the plays before it happened. But we were still in a position to win that ball game at the end. I think Lamar and the offense did a great job of proving the doubters wrong. I know a lot of people were calling for Joe to come in the game, and I thought they were going to bring Joe into the football game in that fourth quarter. But he came back. He showed a lot during those last few drives and scoring those points. Just a lot of resolve, a lot of toughness, a lot of grit. And in the future, I think that's going to pay big dividends for him playing in that type of game and playing against, those great defensive minds over there on that side of the ball. In your mind, you thought they might bring Joe in, huh? I mean, I went on the internet and said, this is the point where I would bring Flacco in because I don't think they can win with Lamar today. Literally, and I know, you know better than anybody, man. Joe hasn't thrown the ball. He hasn't run first team. He hasn't been out, so much with these players over the last 10 weeks that it's been a different system around there. I don't know whether that would have been fair or right or just, or whether he would have been running for his life as well behind the offensive line, which was as big of the problem, a bigger part of the problem. But I don't know that you find rhythm with Smokey Brown running around out there down 17 points late in the game. But that being said, if I had it to do all over again, I would have brought Joe in. Yeah. I mean, it's a tough call, and I had mentioned that on Twitter myself. It's maybe the time to bring Joe in the fourth quarter, just because even if they're bringing pressure like they were, and the offensive line was doing a good job, maybe Joe has a better chance of hitting some of those hot routes, making the adjustments with receivers, on the go. And maybe that gave a better chance. But, hindsight, looking at the way the offensive line was playing, and, I don't know if Joe will be able to get out of the way from those guys. The pocket was closing fast. I think
The good thing about Lamar, he was able to create, that deep pass at the end where he was able to run and scramble around and throw up an amazing pass to Kenneth Dixon. I mean, Joe is not doing that. Joe is not, going to create in that way. I mean, so I think it was great for the organization to stick behind the kid and give him a shot and give him that experience. And like I said, I think it's going to pay dividends for him down the road.
This could have been a lot more awkward, right? And I know of your relationship with Joe Flacco. You know how much I love Joe. I'm a Joe guy.
Yep.
I hope Joe goes and does well. I hope he didn't go to the Redskins and do well. Let me take that back. I hope he does well, but I hope he doesn't go to the Redskins and do well. That's my partiality and regional nature. But but this could have been really weird, right? I mean, all the way around, it could have been really awkward. I think it probably shouldn't have gone as well as it went with Lamar. I don't think anybody thought at 4-5 we're going to go 7-1 with Lamar and be hosting a home playoff game, and that the Steelers are just going to fall apart. Like, I don't know that there's any storyline anybody thought about back at Halloween about that, right?
Yeah, no. It really worked out for Lamar. I mean, the energy, the charisma that he brought to the team. I mean, it was felt not only in the team and the organization, but the fan base. Everyone got behind him, and it was really, really great that it turned out that way. Joe was right there behind him supporting, and if Joe decides to continue to play football and go to another team, I think he'll be a great asset for another team. I think he brings tremendous value. A veteran quarterback that's got a Super Bowl under his belt. I think a team out there will be lucky to have him.
Justin Forsett, our guest here on WNST. You can find all of our coverage in the buyatoyota.com audio vault 24 hours a day from anywhere in the world on your mobile device by downloading the TuneIn radio app. We do come in crystal clear. Our morning newspaper ships directly to your email inbox free of charge each and every morning at 7 a.m. It's all brought to you by Planet Fitness at planetfitness.com, as well as our friends at the Maryland Jockey Club in Laurel. They're racing this week. The entries on the front of WNST.net as well as in our morning newspaper. If there's any breaking news, anything weird going on with the Ravens, any trades with Joe Flacco happening, I don't think that'll be happening just yet. You'll be getting those on the WNST Tech Service. That's all brought to you by Coons Ford of Security Boulevard. And Dennis will be here from 3 until 5 on Thursday, driving you home with the SSV on WNST. I am Nestor. We are WNST.net, AM 1570 and WNST, Tassel, Baltimore. And we never stop talking Baltimore sports.